So here I am, man. I had to quit my job. Kind of loud out there. CFI made me quit trucking. And after over 20 years, I might be done with trucking forever. CFI. Don't go work for CFI. Don't go work for CFI. Don't go work for CFI. Please don't heed my warning, but come back to this video after you try to go work for CFI. I went to work for CFI and I applied for a Southwest regional job. They hired me for a Southwest regional job. I get to orientation. They tell me that my actual driver position is what's called SMS, South, Mid-South. And I would be driving in the southwestern states and the Midwest. It was a list of about 20 states. California, Arizona, Nevada, where I want to drive. I get with CFI the first month or maybe the first 2 months. I was in my region, driving to California from Laredo to Calexico. It was wonderful. The first month was wonderful. And then it started getting weird. Then they start sending me out of my region and saying, this is just the way it goes. You end up going out your region. And one state over, like the first state they sent me to that wasn't in my region was Wisconsin, which I didn't mind. That's still the Midwest, real close to where I'm from originally. And then they start sending me to Iowa. That's out my region. By the third month, they just kept sending me to the East Coast. They end up sending me to South Carolina more than any other state. They send me to South Carolina. I'm out of Texas. They send me to South Carolina more than Texas. I got 2 sons in 2 different states. And with CFI, I told them these are my 2 hometowns. They got me to see my youngest son once. I checked my mail twice, maybe 3 times. But not only did they keep sending me to South Carolina, but they kept sending me right there where the young man Javion McGee was found hanging from a tree. The young truck driver Javion McGee. Let's not forget him. Javion McGee, young black trucker out of Chicago just a few months ago. They found him hanging from a tree. I don't think it was a suicide. Anyway, that was the last straw. The real last straw was the truck broke down one more time. And then they put me up in a hotel in South Carolina for more than a week. So I'm in South Carolina. I'm not making no money. I got this truck. I got to make car payments. I got to pay my insurance. I'm just sitting in a hotel in South Carolina. I can't make no money. And this happened like 3 times with CFI, where they just stick me in a hotel very far from my vehicle's parked thousands of miles away by the Mexican border. And they got me South Carolina, New Jersey. My last 3 times leaving the terminal, they were sending me to New Jersey. I'm on the South Mid-South region, and they kept sending me to New Jersey. And I kept telling them, what's up with this? Are y'all trolling me? Are y'all trying to force me to quit? And so I finally quit. Like the first time they sent me to New Jersey, I was like, that's it. I quit, 2-week notice. But I stayed on after a month later just because it's trucking. How you gonna quit trucking? You gonna rent a car, put all your stuff in the car and drive thousands of miles and then drop it off in Laredo, Texas? Most rental car companies don't want you dropping no vehicle off in Laredo or Mexico. So, yeah, they screwed me, man. And that's where I'm at right now. So please like, share, subscribe. Help me become a YouTuber. Because now it's back to hustle man. So I'm a professional hustle man. You here in the Austin area and you want to pay me to be your personal driver, do some blue collar work, exterminating, holla at me. And I'll drive you anywhere in the country. I can't leave the borders. I can't cross into Canada. I can't cross into Mexico. But if you want me to drive anywhere within the contiguous United States, any of these 48 states, I'll drive you there for $1 a mile. You can't beat that. Anyway, yeah. Trucking. Also, here's another reason I quit trucking, and I'm not going to be trucking for a while. If you look at some videos on my channel, I begged America not to vote for Donald Trump. And America voted heavily for Donald Trump, including my industry, trucking. Truckers really voted for Donald Trump. So I'm not welcome in the trucking industry. My own company did me the way they did. The previous companies have done me pretty bad too. You know, as a trucker, we are expected to be perfect. We are expected to be perfect. We drive these gigantic trucks all throughout traffic. We have to avoid accidents if it's our fault or not. We can't scrape on the curb. We can't bump into nothing. Anything. Anything we bump into is considered an accident. It could go on our record. We have to drive perfect in a world full of, and please don't think I'm saying truckers are perfect. Truckers are not perfect. They're humans, but they're still better than computers. AI is not going to replace truckers no time soon. Automation is not coming no time soon. It's just not what people think it is. Humans are good. As a trucker, you could be driving, boom, it could start raining like a monsoon. Sheets of rain, just a blizzard could pop out of nowhere. Those winds, driving in Wyoming, you could run across 75-mile-an-hour winds very easily. It's March, so I was driving in the winter. And that's something to think about too. I signed up for Southwest Regional, and they just keep me on the East Coast. So they hired me to drive in the deserts, and I'm driving mostly blizzards, ice, and all this other stuff. And that's the thing too. What's their excuse for sending me to the East Coast? If I'm not a good enough driver, why would you send me to the more congested, more tricky part of the country to drive in? There's tricky stuff on the West Coast. Driving through the desert can be tricky. You got, especially in the winter, black ice is a big problem. It could seem like it's warm and you hit a strip of black ice. Of course, there's sandstorms. This ain't the time of year for sandstorms, but you got fires. There were all kind of wildfires this year. And as a trucker, you got to drive through that stuff or, avoid it. Of course, in the Northwest, you got Donner Pass and Snoqualmie Mountain. You got all that mountain driving. So, what are the excuses? They hire me for regional, but they keep me in the part of the country where I say I'm least comfortable driving. And that's one of the problems with trucking, and not just trucking, but it's a lot of companies like that. They hire you for one thing. They see that you're really good at something else. They want you to do something else, but they won't pay you more. And that's my thing. Southwest Regional pays less. The East Coast pays the most. You want to keep me on the East Coast, but you don't want to pay me more. If I could hire a lawyer, I would sue the shit out of CFI for the way they did me. And they baited and switched a lot of people like that. But I talked to a lot of truckers. No other truckers that I saw. I talked to a lot of truckers that were SMS. And they kept a lot of truckers out of their region. But I didn't talk to nobody like where they kept you mostly on the East Coast. And then the last day I was there, I got into like this argument with the dude. And he was like, it doesn't matter where you drive. That's not what I signed up for. It's countless countries. It's countless companies in this country. If I wanted to drive for a company that'll send me wherever the hell they want to send me, that's what I would have applied for. I'd not apply for any 48 state jobs. I applied for this company because this company said they had a regional position. So I'm not trucking for a while, and I'm going to have to work really, really hard to make up for the last 2 months with CFI where they just had me sitting around on the East Coast. Stupid. So yeah, CFI screwed me, man.